My name is Lillian. I am 27 years old, and this is my story. It's a story about love, a love I thought was real, but I was wrong. I was so wrong. He said all the right words. His voice was like a sweet song, but his actions told the truth. And the truth was ugly. The truth broke my heart. Before him, my life was simple. It was quiet. I liked quiet. I worked in a small bookstore in my town. The store smelled like old paper and fresh coffee. It was my favorite smell in the world. I spent my days surrounded by stories. Stories of adventure, of magic, of love. I read about heroines who were brave. I read about heroes who were kind. I believed in that kind of love, the storybook kind. My apartment was small, but it was mine. It had a big window that let in the morning sun. I had many plants. I liked watching them grow. My life was not exciting. It was not full of parties or loud music, but it was peaceful, and I was happy. Or I thought I was. Maybe I was a little lonely. Sometimes, in the evening, the quiet felt too quiet. I would look out my window and see couples walking by, holding hands. And my heart would feel a little pang, just a little one. Then he walked into my bookstore, and my quiet, simple life changed forever. His name was Leo. He was tall. He had dark hair that was a little messy, in a nice way. And his smile could make the whole room feel bright. He didn't come in to buy a book. He said he was just looking. He walked around the store slowly. He touched the spines of the books. I watched him from behind my counter. I tried not to stare, but it was hard. He came to the counter. He didn't have a book. He just leaned on the counter and smiled at me. That bright, beautiful smile. "You have a nice shop here," he said. His voice was deep and warm, like honey. "Thank you," I said. My voice was a little shaky. I felt nervous. "It's peaceful," he said, still looking right at me. I like peaceful places. We talked for a few minutes. Just small talk. About the weather. About the town. It was easy to talk to him. He listened. He really looked at me when I spoke, like my words were important. No one had looked at me like that before. He left without buying anything. But he came back the next day. And the day after that. He would come in, smile that smile, and we would talk. He told me he was new in town. He was working on a project, something with architecture. He made it sound very important and creative. He started bringing me coffee. "I was just passing by," he would say. But I knew he wasn't just passing by. He was coming to see me. And my heart fluttered like a little bird every time I saw him. After a week, he asked me out on a date. He was so charming. "Lillian," he said, his voice soft. "I know this is sudden, but I feel like I need to know you more. Outside of this lovely bookstore, would you have dinner with me on Friday?" I said yes immediately. My heart was beating so fast. I was so excited. I spent hours getting ready for our date. I tried on 3 different dresses. I did my hair. I wanted to look perfect for him. The date was wonderful. It was like something from one of my books. He took me to a nice restaurant. It had candles on the tables. He pulled out my chair for me. He told me I looked beautiful. He said it so many times. I felt beautiful. He asked me about my dreams, my hopes. I told him about my little apartment and my plans. I told him I dreamed of one day traveling to Scotland to see the old castles. He didn't laugh. He looked at me with serious eyes. "We should go together one day," he said. "I can see you there, standing in a green field, with the wind in your hair." I believed him. I believed every word. He made me feel seen. He made me feel special. I fell in love with him so fast. It felt like falling into a warm, comfortable dream. He said all the right words. "You're the most amazing woman I've ever met, Lillian. Being with you feels like coming home. I'm so lucky I found you." He would whisper these things to me. He would hold my hand. He would kiss me softly, and I was completely his. I gave him my heart, all of it. For the first 2 months, everything was perfect. A real-life fairy tale. He was attentive. He was romantic. He was everything I had ever dreamed of. We spent all our free time together. We went for long walks. We cooked dinner together in my small kitchen. We watched old movies. He made me laugh. He made me feel alive. The quiet in my apartment wasn't lonely anymore. It was filled with his voice, his laughter. But then things started to change. It was slow at first. So slow, I almost didn't notice. Small things, little cracks in the perfect picture. I remember the first time I felt that pang of doubt. We had a special date planned. It was our 2-month anniversary. He was going to take me to a concert in the city. I was so excited. I bought a new dress. I talked about it all week at the bookstore. The day of the concert, a few hours before we were supposed to leave, he called me. His voice was different, stressed. "Lily," he said. He always called me Lily. "I'm so sorry. Something has come up at work, a deadline. It's a disaster. I can't make it tonight." I felt a wave of disappointment. "Oh," was all I could say. My new dress was hanging on my door, waiting. "I feel terrible," he said. His voice sounded so sincere. "I promise I will make it up to you. We'll go next week. I promise." I said it was okay. I said I understood. What else could I say? Work was important. But when I hung up the phone, the apartment felt very quiet again. And I felt very small. I put the new dress back in my closet. I ate a sandwich for dinner. Alone. He did make it up to me. The next day, he showed up with a big bouquet of my favorite flowers, lilies. He was so sorry, so charming. He kissed me and told me how much he hated that he had to cancel. I forgave him instantly. How could I not? He was Leo, my Leo. But a tiny seed of doubt had been planted. A tiny little seed. Then came the secrets about his phone. His phone was always with him. Always. He never left it on the table. It was always in his pocket, or face down. Sometimes it would buzz with a message. He would glance at it quickly and put it away. If it rang when we were together, he would look at the screen and his face would change, just for a second. Then he would silence the call. "Aren't you going to answer that?" I asked once. No, it's just work," he said with an easy smile. "They can wait. You are more important." It sounded so nice, so romantic, but it felt strange. One evening, we were watching a movie on my sofa. He fell asleep. His phone was on the small table next to him. It buzzed. I glanced over. I didn't mean to snoop. I really didn't. But the screen lit up. I saw a name. Sarah, and a message. "Thinking of you. When can I see you again? Soxo." My blood ran cold. My heart started beating hard against my ribs. Sarah? Who was Sarah? And why was she sending him kisses? He moved in his sleep. I quickly looked away. I felt sick. My mind was racing. Who was she? Was he cheating on me? No, it couldn't be. Not Leo, my Leo. He loved me. He told me so every day. Maybe Sarah was his sister, or a cousin, or just a friend. There had to be a simple explanation. There had to be. I didn't say anything. I was too scared. Scared of the answer. Scared of breaking the beautiful dream. So I pushed the feeling down. I pretended I didn't see it. I told myself I was being silly. Insecure. He loved me. That was all that mattered. The next thing was the money. It started small. We would be out for coffee. He would pat his pockets. Oh, silly me. I think I left my wallet in my other jacket. "Can you get this one, Lily? I'll get you back." Of course, I said yes. It was just a few dollars. But it started happening more often. At dinner, at the movies. I'm a bit short until my next paycheck. My car needs a small repair. It's so annoying. The excuses were always believable, and I always helped. I loved him. I wanted to help him. That's what you do when you love someone, right? You support them. One day, he came to me looking very worried. "Lily," he said. His face was pale. "I have a problem. A big problem." He told me a long, complicated story about a client who hadn't paid him. He said he was going to lose the project if he couldn't pay for some materials. He needed a lot of money. $500. My heart went out to him. He looked so stressed, so vulnerable. I didn't have a lot of money saved, but I had a little emergency fund. Money I had saved for years, for a real emergency. This felt like one. His pain felt like my pain. "I'll pay you back as soon as the client pays me," he promised. He held my hands. He looked into my eyes. "You would be saving me, Lillian. You're my angel." So I went to the bank. I took out the $500. My hands were shaking as I gave it to him. It felt like a lot of money. It was a lot of money to me. But seeing the relief on his face made it feel worth it. He hugged me so tight. "I love you so much," he whispered. "You don't know what this means to me." He never paid me back. I waited. Weeks went by. He never mentioned the client or the money again. I tried to bring it up once. gently. "Hey, did that client ever pay you?" I asked. His face darkened. "It's complicated, Lily," he said sharply. "Don't worry about it. It's work stuff. It's stressful." He made me feel bad for asking, like I was materialistic, like I didn't trust him. So I dropped it. I never asked again. But the $500 was gone, and my little emergency fund was empty. The biggest red flag was the people in his life, or the lack of them. In all the months we were together, I never met a single one of his friends. I never met his family. He talked about them sometimes. He said his parents lived far away. He said his friends were a rough crowd. And he wanted to keep me separate from that. "You're too good for them, Lily," he'd say. "You're my special world. I don't want to mix it with anything else." It sounded romantic when he said it, like he was protecting me. But now, I know he was just hiding me. My friends all met him. I was so excited for them to meet the wonderful man I loved. I had a small dinner party at my apartment. My two best friends, Clara and Jane, came. Leo was charming. Of course he was. He told funny stories. He complimented their dresses. He helped me in the kitchen. After he left, Clara and Jane were so happy for me. "He's amazing, Lillian," Clara said. "So handsome and funny. You're so lucky." Jane was a little quieter. Later, when we were cleaning up, she said, "He's very smooth, Lily. Almost too smooth." I felt a little defensive. "What do you mean?" I asked. "I don't know," she said, shrugging. "Just be careful, okay? He seems a little too perfect." I was annoyed with her. She just didn't see the real Leo. She was being cynical. But her words stayed with me. Another tiny seed of doubt, planted right next to the others. My life started to revolve around him. His moods, his schedule, his needs. If he was happy, I was happy. If he was stressed, I felt stressed. I stopped doing things I used to enjoy. I read fewer books. I didn't have time for my plants. All my energy went to him, to making him happy, to keeping the dream alive. But the dream was becoming a nightmare. A quiet one. The kind that slowly eats you from the inside. I felt anxious all the time. I was constantly worried. Worried about money. Worried about the other women he might be talking to. Worried about why I felt so sad when I was supposed to be so happy. When I tried to talk to him about my feelings, he would turn it around. "Why are you always so sensitive, Lily? Can't we just have a nice evening without drama? I thought you loved me. If you loved me, you would trust me." He made me feel like I was crazy, like my feelings were wrong. He was the expert at this. It's called gaslighting. I didn't know the word then, but I knew the feeling of not being able to trust your own mind. My world became small and confusing. It was just me and him, and his lies. The end came on a rainy Saturday afternoon. It was my birthday. He had promised to spend the whole day with me. He was going to take me out for a special lunch. Then we were going to a little art gallery I loved. He called me that morning. "Happy birthday, my love," he said, but his voice was rushed. "Listen, something's come up. A work emergency. I am so sorry. I have to go out of town for the day. I'll be back tonight. We can celebrate then. I promise." The same excuse. The same empty promise. But this time, it felt different. It felt cold. Final. My heart didn't just feel a pang of disappointment. It felt like it was breaking. "Okay, Leo," I said. My voice was flat. I had no energy to argue. No energy to feel anything but tired. So very tired. I spent my birthday alone, in my quiet apartment. The rain was hitting my window. It sounded like tears. I didn't cry. I just sat on my sofa, wrapped in a blanket. I felt numb. Around 4 o'clock, my friend Jane called. "Happy birthday," she said cheerfully. "What are you and the perfect Leo doing today?" I told her he had to go out of town for work. There was a long silence on the phone. "Lily," she said slowly, "Leo is not out of town." "What are you talking about?" I asked. "I'm at the new cafe downtown," she said. "The one by the river. And he's here. He's sitting at a table by the window." My breath caught in my throat. "He's there now." "Yes," she said. Her voice was gentle now. "Lily, he's not alone. He's with a woman, a blonde woman. They're holding hands." The world stopped. The rain, the quiet, everything. It all just stopped. My friend Jane's words echoed in my head. Holding hands with a blonde woman on my birthday. I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was months of doubt, months of sadness, months of pushing my feelings down. But suddenly, I wasn't numb anymore. I was angry. A hot, burning anger I had never felt before. "I'm coming," I said, and I hung up the phone. I didn't change my clothes. I didn't even look in the mirror. I grabbed my keys and my raincoat, and I walked out the door. I walked through the rain. My heart was pounding like a drum. I was going to see the truth with my own 2 eyes. The cafe was warm and bright. I stood in the doorway for a second, and then I saw him, just like Jane said, at a table by the window. He was laughing, that charming, beautiful laugh. And across from him was a woman with long, blonde hair. And he was holding her hand across the table. He leaned in and said something to her. She smiled. He was playing the same game with her, saying the same words. It was like watching a movie of my own life, but with a different actress. I walked towards their table. My legs felt shaky, but my resolve was strong. He didn't see me until I was standing right next to him. "Leo," I said. My voice was calm, scary calm. He looked up. The color drained from his face. He looked shocked, scared, like a child caught stealing. He dropped the woman's hand. "Lillian," he stammered. What are you doing here?" "It's my birthday, remember," I said. "You were supposed to be out of town." "At work." The blonde woman looked confused. She looked from me to him. "Leo, who is this?" she asked. Leo didn't answer her. He just stared at me. "Lillian, "This isn't what it looks like," he started. "The classic line. The liar's line." "Isn't it?" I said. I think I laughed. A short, bitter laugh. "It looks like you're a liar, Leo. It looks like you're a cheat. It looks like everything was a game." I looked at the woman. "My name is Lillian. I'm his girlfriend. Or I was. Who are you?" She looked stunned. "I'm Amelia," she said softly. "We've been seeing each other for a month." A month. He was with me and with her. And who knows who else? The Sarah from the text message. Maybe others. I felt sick to my stomach, but the anger kept me standing. "He told me it was your birthday," I said to Amelia. "He told me he had to go out of town for a work emergency." Her eyes widened. She looked at Leo with disbelief. "He told me he had to cancel on a work colleague today," she whispered. "We were both just excuses. Both just pawns in his game." I looked at Leo. He had nothing to say. His charming mask was gone. For the first time, I saw him for what he really was. A small, weak man who used people, who hurt people. "And the money, Leo," I said, my voice rising a little. "The $500 you borrowed. Was that for a work emergency too? Or was it for a nice dinner with Amelia? Or Sarah?" He flinched. He couldn't look at me. He just stared at the table. I didn't need to hear any more. I had seen enough. The truth was right here in this cafe. Ugly and painful. But it was the truth. "You know what, Leo?" I said. I took a deep breath. "I feel sorry for you, because you will never know what real love is. You only know how to play games. Well, the game is over." I turned to Amelia. "I'm sorry," I said to her. "He's probably lying to you too." She just nodded, her eyes full of tears. Then I turned around and walked out of the cafe. I walked back out into the rain. And this time, I let myself cry. I cried for the girl who fell in love with a fairy tale. I cried for the money I lost. I cried for the time I wasted. I cried for my broken heart. The days and weeks after that were the hardest of my life. The pain was a physical thing. It was a weight on my chest. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My quiet apartment felt empty and haunted by his memory. His ghost was in every corner. He tried to call me many times. He sent long text messages, full of apologies, full of excuses. I made a mistake. "I love you, Lily, only you. Please give me another chance." For a moment, a weak, broken moment, I almost believed him. Because the pain of being without him felt so big. And the memory of the good times, the charming Leo, was still so strong. But then I remembered his face in the cafe. The lies, the other woman, the truth. I blocked his number. I deleted his messages without reading them. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. But I knew I had to save myself. My friends, Clara and Jane, were my rocks. They came over with ice cream and movies. They let me cry. They let me be angry. They didn't say, "I told you so." They just listened. Jane hugged me and said, "You are so strong, Lily." You walked away. That's the bravest thing you could do. Slowly, very slowly, I started to heal. It wasn't a straight line. Some days were good. I would go to work at the bookstore. I would talk to my customers. I would feel almost normal. Then other days were bad. A song on the radio would remind me of him, and the pain would come rushing back. I started to focus on myself, on the things I had forgotten. I started taking care of my plants again. I bought new books and actually read them. I went for long walks alone, just me and my thoughts. I had to learn to trust myself again. He had made me doubt my own feelings, my own mind. I had to learn to listen to that little voice inside me, the one that had whispered warnings, the one I had ignored. I learned that love isn't supposed to make you feel anxious and small. Real love, the storybook kind I still believe in, should make you feel safe. It should make you feel respected. It should build you up, not break you down. Leo's love was not love. It was control. It was a game. And I was just a player he used. It has been a year now. I still work at the bookstore. My life is quiet and simple again. But it's different. I am different. I am stronger. The scars on my heart are still there. I think they will always be there. But they don't hurt all the time anymore. They are just a reminder of a lesson learned. I learned that actions are more important than words. Anyone can say, "I love you." But true love is shown in respect, in honesty, in kindness. I learned that my own happiness is my responsibility. I cannot give someone else the power to create it or destroy it. I haven't dated anyone else. I'm not ready yet. I'm still learning to be happy with my own company. And I am okay on my own. I am not lonely. I am peaceful. If you are listening to my story, and maybe you are in a situation like mine, maybe you love someone who hurts you, someone who says all the right words, but whose actions tell a different story. Please listen to your feelings. Please trust that little voice inside you. You are not crazy. You are not too sensitive. Your feelings are real, and they are important. Leaving is hard. It is so hard. It will hurt, but staying will hurt more. It will slowly destroy you. You deserve to be loved for who you are. You deserve honesty and respect. You are not a game. Be brave, choose yourself. It will be the most important choice you ever make. You are strong enough to heal. You can build a new life, a true life, a life that is peaceful, just like I am doing. You can do this too. Keep going.